Who's Scruffy-Looking?
Hello there, all you Gamorreans and Gun-Guns, and welcome to the Scruffy-Looking podcast, the show where we talk about all things related to that galaxy far, far away. My name's Dakota Hayden, and alongside with me is my co-host and dad, Mark Hayden Jr.
Hello.
How's it going, Dad?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. It's starting to warm up a little bit where we're at, but it's not exactly where I would personally want it myself. But the snow's still here.
At least the sun's shining today.
That is true.
So that's a plus.
That is true. That is true. That does help out. So we're kind of in a lull point at this moment because we just finished up the Skeleton Crew recently, and there's not really anything new Star Wars related at this point until I think the next thing that's coming out is the next thing Andor, or is the next thing
Andor.
So that'll be an exciting thing to look forward to.
Yep.
So kind of we just have speculation to what they might do at Celebration, and then we got Andor later on. So
So there's a storm of information on the horizon. We just gotta wait for it to get here.
Exactly. As soon as that comes out, we'll have plenty of stuff to throw out for sure. So to kind of fill up content in between, I figured we'd just kind of go back and talk about just anything Star Wars related. I mean, there's plenty of content that we've talked about here and there during the episodes that we can go back and touch on, or anything we'd like to see come out and stuff. I mean, we're, between the two of us, 50 plus years of Star Wars veteran status. So, I mean, there's plenty of stuff that we've seen about everything, But before we get into that stuff, we'd like to introduce a new segment that we'd like to start implementing into these shows, and we're going to call it Scruffy Scratchers. So the general idea of the Scruffy Scratcher, when you watch anything, really, television, movie, anything related, sometimes there's inconsistencies in the continuity, or you see something during a scene that's like, okay, why is that there? And for these scratchers, as we're calling them, we are basically overanalyzing just for the sake of overanalyzing. It could have completely been a mishap on the prop department's part, or like an animation didn't go right, but we're just completely nitpicking, just to nitpick, and just to have fun with it.
Yeah, overthinking
stuff to have fun with it. Yeah. So, Dad, you had a Scruffy Scratcher. What you got?
I was thinking, when Luke and Obi-Wan and the droids come in the Mos Eisley and stuff, how Luke's just wearing his lightsaber for everybody to see. Mm-hmm. And then, Obi-Wan ignites his saber in the cantina and takes out Dr. Ebazan and Ponda Baba. It seems like, time, as the stories evolved and stuff's evolved, you didn't know where things were going back then. But knowing that the Inquisitors are still out there, by that point the Grand Inquisitor is dead.
Yes, by that point he'd be gone.
But doesn't seem like you got the Imperial garrison there. As soon as the lightsaber is lit someplace, like there would be all sorts of Imperial troops all over that scene, and or somebody would report, this guy, I saw somebody with a lightsaber. What's just kind of how they're parading around with.
I guess in the timeline of the movie, because as soon as that happens, not too long later, they're escaping with Han and getting out of there. So I guess maybe it just took them a long time to get there, but you'd think the reaction time for that would be like instant. Like we haven't heard anything of a Jedi in so long.
Right, the stormtroopers would have went to the cantina and what's going on here, and lightsaber. Mm-hmm. They sent out something like there'd be like Inquisitor ships or Star Destroyers crazy diverging on Tatooine.
Absolutely, especially since by that time, like we said, by this time the Grand Inquisitor would have been dead. I would assume there'd kind of be a consensus. There would have been a good chunk of years where they're just like, yeah, the Jedi are gone. They're extinct. We don't have to think about or worry about them anymore at all. And so that I definitely would have thought, or somebody reported it to the garrison. They're like, yeah, right. Yeah. All the Jedi are dead. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, you can justify it. So, I was like, okay, so you're in the hive of scum and villainy. Somebody's got a lightsaber. It might... he must have stole that from someplace or whatever, or whatever.
That too.
And then, if the stormtroopers saw it and then they got report, there's a lightsaber, you know, took off this guy's arm and all that. Have you ever worked with somebody and like you got that one person or group of people that they're just there for a paycheck and they don't like,
Yeah.
and maybe them stormtroopers are like, I don't want to deal with all that big deal. You
All
know,
the paperwork you got to file with that.
you know, well, that means I'm going to have to do more work to do that. You know, forget that. You know, just
Yeah, absolutely. And I even thought on that too. I didn't even think on the aspect of when Obi-Wan lit his lightsaber. Somebody actually saw a lightsaber lit. I didn't even think about that. I was thinking more of like, Luke's just carrying around, hanging it there. I mean, if someone did see it, if you didn't know what a lightsaber was, you could have thought, oh, it's that moisture farmer's kid, you know, probably some tool or something he's hanging around with.
But then you think of it, you see somebody ignite a lightsaber and the person with them has a lightsaber. There's two lightsabers.
Yeah.
But maybe like, you know, hive of scum and villainy, maybe they're like,
For sure.
oh, well, okay, whatever.
Yeah, and especially if say there was a guy that went and reported to the garrison, be like, and the guy next to him had a lightsaber, like, okay, bud, I'm sure. And then they hear more people, I'm sure, talk about it, and that would explain where the stormtroopers came from to try and stop them as they were trying to escape eventually. But like and even more on that, you would think that would reach the chain of command. And like then Vader would have been privy to something by that at that point. But I guess then there's the question of like how quick was all this happening, and like the time jump of everything during that sequence of events. So there is that too. But yeah, definitely. It's interesting how that played out then, because you'd think there would have been more action taking place when it happened.
I have a feeling, just knowing Star Wars, and you know, if somebody would do a backstory of this now or something, there would be some reason like, it was reported, but they wanted to see where they went, so they let them, you know, so there's somebody following in the background, tracking them, seeing, you know, if it would lead to other Jedi, or that they come up with some elaborate story of
what's his name? I forget it. I always call him Squeakers.
Granadan?
Yeah, Granadan. Granadan is probably like the guy following them and keeping tabs on him. But
and he's a secret Sith, and
for sure. Yeah. Of course.
Keeps his lightsaber in his snout, and he just kind of like sneezes, and out comes his lightsaber. Oh, Palpatine had it up his sleeve. He's like
yeah, that would have been a killer scene. I always remember Granadan from the Lego Star Wars game. Just every time he'd pull out a walkie-talkie and be like, it's like, okay.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite things, that first episode of Mandalorian, is seeing another one of them guys.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was cool. That was really cool. So that'll go ahead and do it for this Scruffy Scratchers segment.
And if anybody out there has any ideas for some, please share them with us.
Absolutely.
And we'll touch base on those too.
Yeah, throw it down in the comments. If you guys out there watching have any Scruffy Scratchers, or you see something and just like, how did they not notice that? Or this seems interesting. Feel free to post it down in the comments and we'll take a look, and might even be featured in the next episode.
Well, I was watching a video, and you know, I've seen a lot of the deleted scenes, or heard about deleted scenes from the movies over the years. And I'd never heard that in the early drafts of Revenge of the Sith that Boba Fett was going to be the one to kill Mace Windu. So that was news to me. I never heard that. So, that would have been neat, but I don't know how the story went. I don't know how you squeeze. You know, I'm sure when Lucas first comes up was for the movies, he thinks of all these things. Then when you start actually getting it written out, it's like, how do you put all this in here and make it make sense? Because I know originally, like, young Han Solo was going to be in Revenge of the Sith, and he was going to be living on Kashyyyk and stuff like that. So, you know, I like little cameos and stuff. I don't like it overdone. I mean, that would have seemed really forced to me, having Han in there. And the Boba Fett Mace Windu thing, they kind of touched on that in those Clone Wars episodes. That does kind of seem more of a thing that you would have had in the Clone Wars.
For sure.
It'd be neat to see in live action some interaction, but I don't know where you put it at to make it not just seem so forced in there.
Especially if you were to say like Boba Fett ended up killing Mace Windu, like that Mace Windu being there in the Chancellor's office during that pivotal moment of Anakin turning to the dark side, that was needed because like. If it would have been, I think there's speculation out there, if it would have been any other Jedi Master that had Sheev down there on that window, maybe Anakin wouldn't have turned so fast. But just because it was Mace Windu, and, there was that conflict there.
Yeah, Windu went out the window.
Exactly, Windu went out the window. Sprayed it with Windex before Windu went out the window.
Now, this wouldn't have worked for a scene in the movie, but like maybe a comic or an animated show, you could have had it where, because if you would have put this in the movie, it would have disrupted the flow of the movie. But when Windu landed, however he fell, like say he like maybe kind of force catches himself or whatever, and lands. What if Boba Fett was in the shadows watching, waiting for his opportunity? And you see Mace laying there, he's all wounded and stuff, and then all of a sudden out of the shadows comes Boba.
That would have been,
and then takes him out that way.
That would have been an interesting way to do it for sure. But then you'd have to argue, like go through like coincidence of him being there at the right time. But
but if he was waiting for his next opportunity and was just kind of following him, was there on Coruscant and kind of watching, Mace Windu go through his daily business and stuff, and saw him go to you could even have that earlier in the animated episode or the comic where he's like in the background watching Windu and Stacey Teen and Kit Fisto and Egan Kolar show up. And then he's just kind of like waiting, biding his time, and then
that would have been no, I could see how it definitely I think would have interrupted the flow of the movie.
Right.
But that'd be an interesting take for that because there's speculation out there that Windu survived that fall.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to you could leave it up to be like, no, he didn't. He fell and he's gone. But you could, if you wanted to add a little bit more to that, be like, yeah, Fett actually got his revenge on him.
Yeah.
But I think that also does good for Boba Fett's character and like development because he was a kid when all this happened. He's going on this revenge arc, but then he kind of like rises above it a little bit.
Well, it's obvious what happened. Boba found Windu laying there, and he took him to a mod shop and had him repaired, had him fixed up.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I put this behind me. Revenge isn't the way, and
send him on his way.
Here's go with your new animatronics and just be gone.
Oh my goodness.
That's the new story for Boba Fett. He just goes around the galaxy. When there's somebody in need, he rescues them and takes them to a mod place.
Exactly. He's like just a traveling mechanic. He's like, oh, you got shot? I can fix you. The book of Boba Fett, we've been poking at it randomly here and there, and we need to do a full episode of a breakdown of that for our interpretation and stuff. Would you have told a story of Boba Fett becoming what's the title that he is
Daimyo?
Daimyo? Would you have, for his character, would you have seen like, yeah, that's what Boba Fett would be doing?
That seemed weird to me. Now, like, maybe taking over Jabba's operation, which I guess is kind of what he did, but I see maybe just taking over that and maybe running it as like a kind of like a bounty hunters guild.
Yeah.
But the whole like overseeing Tatooine, that seems a lot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of weird, I guess, overall. Yeah, the story didn't go, from that credit scene on Mandalorian where they showed Boba Fett walk in and take out Bib Fortuna and all that. The series sure didn't go the way I thought. I was
I was excited after that bit. I was like, oh, where are we going from here?
And there's parts of it I really like. I like his time with the Tuskens and stuff like that. I think that's really good. I didn't like the Stormtrooper in the Sarlacc pit. That
No.
just seemed, because it's like, why is there a stormtrooper there? If they would have had a scene where it showed like a stormtrooper patrol, like a prequel scene where a stormtrooper patrol heard about explosions out in the Dune Sea, came out, investigated it, and a couple of them got too close to the Sarlacc, and it pulled them in,
Yeah.
you know. But just all of a sudden, hey, there's this random storm, because you had so many helmeted guys in Jabba's palace, you could have used one of those in there, where
For sure.
But
Yeah.
I kind of reading the old book, the old expanded universe books and stuff. It's neat seeing them in the Sarlacc. That scene, I don't know, just it wasn't enough for me. It just seemed too easy how he got out. I liked in the book how it was more of a struggle, and there's some weird stuff in there where like there's a Jedi that Rancor or Sarlacc had ate like generations before, and its spirit was kind of still kind of like the Rancor. I keep on right. Sarlacc kind of took the memories of people that ate.
Yeah,
and
there was
stuff
like echoes of like the
right
memories.
Maybe that's a little over top, but I would have liked to. I would have been all right with like half an episode just being him struggling to get out of there, maybe doing flashbacks, things he's doing to try to get out, reminding him of things from his past, or maybe that his dad told him and he used that. That just, that happened so quick. It wasn't. I just wanted a little bit more from that. But the time with the Tuscans, when he was out of. Sometimes he acted like the Boba Fett that we saw in that return episode on Tython in The Mandalorian. He was like this tough guy. Then other times he just seemed. It's like they couldn't make up their mind, and I was trying to figure, okay, maybe this time in the back to tank he was weak. It just kind of it seems so choppy to me. But the whole daimyo thing. I don't know if I needed that. I liked seeing Santon in it. I liked seeing the Hutt siblings in it. That was cool.
I would have liked to have seen more bounty hunters.
That's what I get.
With.
At least one of the other ones. From Empire Strikes Back, I thought for sure we'd get them. I'm surprised. I'm still shocked we haven't seen them in some form in something yet. Even in Kenobi, I thought that one droid was going to end up being Furlong, but it didn't. They ended up giving him another name and stuff. And it's like, and I think originally in Mandalorian that was supposed to be IG-88, and then they changed it and stuff. But it would have been neat seeing a confrontation Mandalorian and IG-11 against Boba Fett and IG-88, or some kind of they didn't have to fight, but maybe just some kind of heated
interaction there.
Yeah, and Dengar and all of them. Yeah, it'd be neat to Bosk. I'd like to see him again. So
because there's a need for new characters, absolutely, but we have so many different characters from legends and from just even movies and stuff that's canon that just don't get reused that can. I mean, for a lot of us, I don't think it's a issue of seeing this character too much. It's no, we want to know what happened to them and see more of their story.
Yeah, and they don't even have to have a big role, even if you just see them in the background. When Mandalorian, when we first get introduced to Grief Karga, and he walks into that bar and all those bounty hunters in there, you could have had one of them just in the back. It would have been a neat. Oh yeah, because it would have made sense. If it's a bounty hunters guild,
for sure. Yeah,
people are all sitting there, drinking or whatever. You could have had it, and they didn't even have to speak or anything. No, but just oh, I know who that was. That would have been cool to see. I wish they'd do more of that, but it just seems to. Sometimes they do. Sometimes it's oh yeah, cool. But sometimes come on, it would have been nice. But yeah, I agree with you. I could definitely see, especially in his latter years, Boba Fett heading up a bounty hunter guild or something like that. That definitely seems like in his nature to do. But just basically a mayor of a good chunk of Tatooine just doesn't. And I was expecting too much, but when he got his starship back, don't want to step on anybody's toes.
That's a whole nother conversation.
When he got his starship back, and he said he had some business to take care of, I was hoping not only would it be with that gang that took out the Tuskens,
Yeah.
I was hoping somehow we was going to have like a Han Solo cameo or a Luke cameo, or I feel like at some point, since they're all still out there, we needed that
interaction. Like, there's got to be some heat there, because
right?
they're the reason he was in the Sarlacc.
Right? Yeah. Or even if they bumped into each other and he's like, it was just a job, nothing personal, you know. But I captured you. You guys knocked me out. Okay, it is what it is, and
some kind of like almost closure. Not that I guess that we needed it, but it would have been cool to see.
Right?
You know, it's something we could have expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some interaction. Yeah. His starship. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Good grief.
His fire spray.
At least they got the identification of the ship right. If they would have just been like, no, it's just called Fett's starship or something like that. Whatever. She's one of a kind. Or the last of her kind, anyway. I did. You said how you liked the Tusken part with. This is basically the Book of Boba Fett episode. We'll have
we're just rolling with it.
Yeah, sure. Keep going. The Tusken part, I really liked. Just kind of like the full circle thing with that, because the only reason Boba Fett was around is because Jango at some point decided he wanted some kind of legacy, some kind of family-esque thing, and that was a big conflict for him, even in the Bounty Hunter video game that focused on him and stuff, just that family, that legacy thing. And then, of course, Boba Fett didn't really get that because, you know, Jango got killed on Geonosis. And so for him to be captured by these Tuskens and basically integrated into their family, I thought was a really cool, full circle. So he was like, this is what my dad was talking about. Or this is, you know, I get it.
Yeah, I like the whole...
that was cool.
Seeing the Tusken culture and all that. The lizard up the nose is a little bit weird.
Yeah.
The four-armed creature thing that came up out of the sand, too... It was neat. It was a little weird to me too, I guess. I like the design. I don't know if it just fit like a sand looking.
Yeah. They could have done something different, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I like the nod because it kind of looked like the Kraken from the old Clash of the Titans.
Yeah,
I like
cool.
I like the homage thing. I like that bit. And I thought it was a neat design. It just seemed out of place there on Tatooine or something. It just kind of...
No, I agree with that. So, since we're rolling on Book of Boba Fett, we got to make mention of... So, in the Skeleton Crew, we got to see what a real high-speed chase looks like. In the Book of Boba Fett, we got to see a bunch of mopeds drive around going at least 5 miles an hour. I don't know what they were thinking with that.
No.
Like, it was framed 100% like a high-speed car chase. Why couldn't we have done... I get it that... it's Mos Espa, right? That was the most... I get Mos Espa and Mos Eisley mixed up all the time. Mos Espa is big. It's not huge, but it's big. Like, you could have definitely done something better with a chase scene, going through all those different streets and everything like that.
And I get the tie, the color of the mod speeders. I get how it's kind of like a throwback to old hot rods back from the 50s and 60s. I like those colors. Maybe it was just a little too intense colored for Tatooine, you know, where you know, it's but, and I think if those mods, and I think a lot of the newer Star Wars shows, one thing that's lacked, one of the mods would have been like if you could have had a couple of them be aliens, or, you know, some of the familiar species, and it just might have helped a little bit too.
And even just the way they framed the mods, I get why they did it. There was, if I remember right, when the Book of Boba Fett came out, the reason they wanted to do that was to kind of like highlight people with disabilities and stuff like that. Super appreciative. You know, that's awesome. There's definitely awesome ways to include that, but the way they framed it, it almost seemed like, okay, one, it was intentional that they were getting these modifications.
They were. That's what my understanding. They were. Yeah.
So for like, if you're wanting to highlight people with disabilities, their disabilities aren't intentional. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that kind of contradicts in there, and it almost treated like it was a tattoo parlor. Like, you got this wicked like blaster that pops out of your arm. I got this shoulder cannon that I had embedded into my skeleton.
When he needed reinforcements, and it ended up being the mods, I was like, he's going to send a signal out, and it's going to be like Bosk and Dengar and it's disappointing when it's like, and that's all we got. It just seemed weird to me that they held off the Pike Syndicate and all these guys, and it was just Boba and Dinjarin and Chrysanthemum, the mods, and I'm having a brain fart on her name.
Fennec
Shan. Yeah. Just that group, and I know the people from Freetown came in at the end too. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That wasn't enough for me either. I
needed some bigger firepower. I think bringing in the Mandalorian. Okay, cool. Yeah, they just met, so obviously he's on like speed dial because they just met and stuff, and he got his armor back from him and stuff like that. But you could have definitely sent out a distress to other bounty hunters. I'm sure. Like, if I remember right in Legends, Dengar and Boba had a pretty decent relationship. So if he would have sent a signal out to Dengar and he would have caught that, I would have expected him to be like, Boba's still alive? And would have been immediately there.
Yeah, Boba was, that one novel, Boba was Dengar's best man at his wedding. Oh, yeah. It would have been neat if Cad Bane would have had some other bounty hunters with him.
Yes.
And then Boba would have had some of the old ones that we knew, and we had a neat confrontation between those two groups of bounty hunters. Cool. And even though it could have been a way to, this is what this guy's fate was. He got killed here, or we could have.
You could have had like an easy, like almost like to compare it to like Western, kind of like an OK Corral shootout between
with the group of bounty hunters would have been cool.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah, I would have. That would have been neat. I would have liked that.
Yeah.
So.
What did you think about speaking of Cad Bane, what did you think about his fate? He showed up at the very end, and then, is he dead?
I don't think he's dead. I think they left it open enough because don't you see the lights?
I know a lot of people are saying
about the lights. I think they left it open-ended enough that if they wanted to use them again. Same thing with, where is my brain at today?
It's just the day for it.
Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, Cobb Vanth.
They left him open, what's he up to? Yeah, what's he doing now? So
because he was in we caught him in the after credits scene getting healed up, wasn't it?
Yeah, that mod dude was working on him too. Yeah. So
I don't know. I'm not sure. I like Cobb Vanth. I thought he was a cool character.
Yeah, I did too.
It was a fun nod, I think, to like in Legends there was that fake Boba Fett, and I think they were kind of like playing with that idea in there because he was using his armor and stuff like that.
That would have been a neat character to Jodo Cast.
To have him in there.
That would have been a neat character to.
They could have totally swung that way, but with Cobb Vanth, I thought that was cool enough. So
that would have been neat. Boba got out, and then they could have had Jodo going around impersonating him, and then Boba taking a fight between. The way Boba was on Tython with them stormtroopers, if you had that Boba fighting Jodo, would have been a neat.
That would have been a cool
neat
scene.
Visual to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think? And it got me thinking with Boba Fett's armor. I've noticed this a lot, just with the Mandalorian, and then even with Boba Fett, and just some other scenes that I see. It seems like every time you introduce a character with armor, they have to get shot in the armor all the time. Like, I get it that their Beskar or their, like, Durasteel Beskar alloy armor can take blaster bolts solidly. But I don't know. I think I'm referencing this, I don't know if you've seen it, and I haven't played the game yet, so it was kind of a spoiler for me. But Boba Fett makes an introduction or like a little cameo to the new Jedi Survivor game that was out there. So that was cool to see. But he has a shootout with another bounty hunter. I don't remember her name. at this point in his career, I would have expected him to be a faster gun, but he takes a shot to the chest as he fires his shot out and takes her down for the capture to take her into the bounty. I feel like that kind of setup always seems to happen. And to me, it kind of it doesn't really help the character, because if you think like Mando, Boba Fett, these people are good with the quick draw. You know what I mean? So like if you're telling me every time they make a quick draw, most of those times they're also taking a bullet, they're shooting at the same time, so they're getting tagged in the armor, but they're killing them. So you mean like the only reason they're still alive is because they're wearing armor? I don't like that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Right, yeah,
you know?
I see what you're saying. Yep.
Because it's like they're skilled enough already. They should have made that shot. That would have ripped before they would have even had their finger on the trigger. You know what I mean?
You know, my other pet peeve about guys that wear armor and helmets is like if they get in a fist fight and somebody that has bare hands or is wearing like pilot gloves or whatever punches the guy in the helmet.
Yeah.
And the guy in the helmet's like, ugh, and then it's like,
yeah,
that's one thing I like in Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan's fighting Grievous and he like kicks him and he's like, ah! That's how it should be. But if that
100%.
Beskar armor is like, it can repel all this stuff, but boy, if you punch it with your fist, there's the weakness right there. That's always, and not just in Star Wars and other genres too. When somebody's got an armored helmet on and somebody just walks up and bam, and then the guy at the helmet goes down and the guy with the bare hands just like, well, no problem.
They don't have shock resistance in their helmets, so it just rattles the whole time. It's like a Looney Tunes thing where the helmet just spins.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that was...
we totally need that in this. They got to do that where like in a season of Mandalorian, one of them get hit and their helmet just spins around on their...
spins around. That'd be funny. That'd be funny. I think that's that bare knuckle versus armor argument as definitely. I think if I remember right, in that that Star Wars Outlaws game, I haven't played or seen much of that. I think that was a critique that they had on that because they're the main character. You're like a smuggler, and like some of your takedowns that you do, she just runs up and like clocks a stormtrooper. It's like, okay, I don't think so. Now, if you're a turret and just like whacking them with your stick, yeah, but like,
you know what it is?
What's it?
She's been modded. She has metal knuckles.
She's got the metal
knuckles.
Oh my goodness!
She's got real brass knucks.
That's
how she's.
See, but I would still believe that a little more. Maybe not against the Beskar, but if someone had like a solid like kind of metal glove, kind of brass knuckle gauntlet thing, and you just slugged a stormtrooper, like they don't have the highest quality armor.
Oh, yeah, it's just cheap and mass produced.
So it's gonna be to see it shattered. That'd be cool. Yeah. But no, guess not. I don't know. Back on the Book of Boba Fett, who was I don't remember their names, but that one scene where Boba Fett entered that wow, this is gonna be really vague. That one building, and they had that
bar,
the bar, and there was
Cameo and Fixer in
yes,
there.
Yes, that was a cool little cameo. Yes.
Did I see a thing where there's that deleted scene from A New Hope that had Cameo and Fixer? Did I see a thing where those two actors are suing Lucasfilm now over their likeness or something?
Really?
Yeah, I think there's some kind of lawsuit I heard.
Interesting.
Was going on about that all these years later, but yeah, that was kind of neat little.
Yeah, that was cool to see, but interesting.
Did you like them introducing another Rancor?
Yeah. See, now the imagery to me of Boba Fett riding the Rancor, I thought was really, really cool.
I liked that. I liked that.
I like that a lot. But I think I'm okay with it. Okay. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I go back and forth with it. It was neat, but then part of me kind of like it would have been neat for some other kind of monster.
Yeah, because there's plenty of other big beasts that are Rancor size that would have fit just as well.
What if they would have brought him like a young Acklay or something, and he could have been riding that, and it would have been kind of a tie-in to Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, I liked him on the Rancor. I liked that visual. That was all neat. It just I don't know, just seemed kind of convenient. Oh, look, here's another Rancor.
Yeah. It's like, we know this was Jabba's old palace. He's got Rancors on speed dial. There's no Rancor here. We'll get you a Rancor.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Dial 1-800-RANCOR. Has your Rancor been killed by a Jedi?
We'll have one replaced within the next cycle. Ooh, a deal.
I did like it when they those like ninja guys from that one episode. Then they dropped the one down in there, and he thought the Rancor was still. That was funny. I thought that's funny. I didn't like the design of those guys either. They reminded me of in G.I. Joe. There's those Night Creeper ninjas. They kind of seemed like. I wish they would have done something a little bit different with their costumes or whatever. I like the concept of them, but I don't know. It just looked like they threw some pajamas on them or something instead. But
well, Boba Fett's a beloved character, so of course the budget for the series wasn't that good. So they just, they found some sheets laying around for sure. Same thing with Obi-Wan. Same thing with whatever. So the Rancor was mostly in that final battle, kind of a crux point to counteract those big droids that the Pikes had. What'd you think of those guys? I can't remember what they referenced, if they even referenced where they were from.
Yeah, it could look like leftovers from the Separatist army or something.
It did, but must those have been like prototypes that never fully got built, or like they only built like 3 or 4 of them, and then the Pikes got a hold of it after the war because they weren't able to send them out?
I think I would have liked the visual instead of having those. I mean, you needed those droids with their shields. But the Pikes would have had some kind of beast of their own. And the visual of the Rancor fighting another big beast. The kind of throwback Godzilla, King Kong.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Godzilla versus, all the other monsters. That would have been kind of neat visual.
Yeah. Or even if you wanted to counter, we just said how it would have been cool if like Boba Fett was riding some kind of like Acklay or something like that, and the Pikes came out with a Rancor. That would have been kind of a cool time. Like, there used to be a Rancor here. The Pikes have a Rancor for whatever reason. We have a Pike, and then like that would have been a cool scene. Yeah. I think a Rancor probably would kill Acklay though.
Oh, I would think so.
I would say.
Yeah.
Just with that size comparison, and
they come out with the Zillow Beast.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Did we ever get any more?
In the Bad Batch,
we got a
little bit more than Zillow. So I think there's more eventually with that too.
I would imagine you'd have to, because there was that reference for that. Yeah.
Filoni seems to be pretty good of coming back and trying to tie up loose ends.
It seems like he definitely, which is appreciated, because like I for one am not a big fan of just like we're adding new things here and there and then it's just gone
and then no resolve on other things.
Yeah. So no, I definitely appreciate what he's doing with that. So yeah, we already mentioned how we weren't too big of a fan of Boba Fett's betrayal or portrayal in the book of Boba Fett. I didn't like how much he was kind of like a not to offend any of our elder audience that might be watching, but he's kind of just like a bumbling old man.
Sometimes he was a real tough guy. That was one of my biggest. It's one moment he was this tough guy like you saw in that when we first saw him back in that episode of The Mandalorian. Then other times he just, if they would have had some kind of explanation like being in the Sarlacc's digestive juices caused you to have like, not necessarily a split personality, but like affected your mental.
Yeah.
Kind of made you kind of.
And that's why he's got to be in the back to tank all the time.
Right, but if it just some explanation. Well, the reason he seems like this one time and this the other time is because of the time in the Sarlacc affected his brain or something. Yeah. Would have made, but other than that, because really there's no explanation for how he's kind of just all over the board sometimes on.
And that one time when they first infiltrated the palace and he was chasing around that little bunny droid around this, I don't know.
Yeah, he just seemed like an idiot. Yeah, it's like you wiped out all these stormtroopers in a real tough guy fashion, and then
he shot down a stinking transport with his rocket.
Right, and then the Energizer Bunny So you can't catch him.
It's like, why? I don't know. It's like they couldn't figure out what they wanted him to be. But.
Yeah. Then he grabs him. He's like, "You know who I am? I'm It's like, I'm Batman."
Like, okay.
I like the mayor. I like Ithorians anyway, but the mayor,
Yeah.
I liked him a lot. He was an idiot, but the Twi'lek, his office guy there,
Yeah.
I even got a kick out of him sometimes too. I thought he was pretty
fun.
funny. He was dumber than heck, but
that was good. That was good.
Apologies. Yeah, he was good. Oh, you know something else that kind of annoyed me was when Jabba had the palace. There was so much going on at the palace. Then it's like when Boba's at the palace, there's like nobody. I felt like I needed some. I'm sure after Jabba got killed and Bib got killed. Well, even when they showed Bib, it seemed like there would have been more.
You would have thought, because like it's a palace, like there was a lot of action going on there. So even if Jabba got killed, like surely there were still things that were happening in the palace while Bib took over. Yeah. Even if he didn't care, and then like when Boba usurped him, like.
And then I thought it was weird. The torture droids, one becomes like the translator.
Yeah.
And then the other one seemed to be, if it's the same one, was working at the cantina, which having a droid working the bar at Mos Eisley was funny because the whole no droids thing, but now there's a droid,
was good.
servant.
That was kind of
that was funny, but just weird. So Bib Fortuna's this bad guy. You got these crime lords, and you guys aren't torture droids anymore. You're going to be a translator, and you're going to go work at the bar.
Yeah,
it's like it seemed weird to me too.
They finally put in Geneva Convention rules. Where like, we can't torture people anymore. The New Republic doesn't like that when we do that. So we gotta turn you into a bartender. Get out of here.
Ooh, I just thought of something would have been a neat, like little scene.
What was that?
Like show Boba walking through the palace, and there'd be like a pile of junk, and there's the framework to Han's carbonite slab, and just have him see it, and just kind of take a pause.
That would have been cool.
Didn't have to say nothing, just
kind of see it. That would have been cool to see, because that's got to be just hanging out around in there, I would think, unless they cleared it out when Bib came back. But I don't know. But yeah, I wish they would have done something different. I'm hoping we still see Boba Fett in something.
I do too.
I think they would. They could. Tamara Morrison seems like he definitely wants to do more for sure. So I'd like to see Boba Fett again, but I just.
Well, here's this movie coming out. Kind of some of the leaks or rumors what's supposed to happen and stuff. Have it where Mandalorian has to call for backup. Who would you turn to? Boba Fett. Then, hey, you know anybody? You could have Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
I got a couple other guys too. There's Bosk and Dangar.
That'd be really cool if they did that. But it's cool, so
Right, yeah. So, especially if Imbo is in it and Imbo has a group, then you can go back to that whole OK Corral thing.
And that'd be
the two groups.
That'd be awesome. And that would tie up a lot of loose ends really quick, because if you had that shootout and like there's we have a boss, Dangar, Forlom, Zuckuss, all these different bounty hunters coming up, and then just like, he got killed, he got shot, and you don't even have to make any like blaze of glory out of it, he got killed. Ooh. Oops.
But that fruit that they eat, hair like Mulroon, is that it?
Oh yeah, Mulroon. Yeah.
That's one of the bounty hunters comes up to Dangar and he's like, "I'm your Mulroon instead of I'm your Huckleberry."
I rewatched that scene not too long ago from, I think it was Mando season 2 with the actor who played Johnny Ringo when they had that shootout out there. I love that scene. I thought that was so good.
Yeah,
I thought that was so good.
I would like to see more from that character too. I get, it served its purpose, but I've always liked him. It would have been neat to see more of him. So
yeah, for sure.
And I liked the Gamorreans.
Yes.
Those have always been some of my favorite aliens, so it was neat seeing them guys. Too bad they're bacon now after falling off the cliff.
Yeah.
But yeah. That doesn't. I'm thinking of other things. When they split them groups up to like take over the sectors, it's like, what did you really expect you was going to do? You had Chrysanthemum all by himself go here, and you had two Gamorreans go here, and then you had the Scooter gang go over here. That's why I felt like they needed more toughness with them.
Yeah.
Okay, if those, I like the Gamorreans. If those two Gamorreans would have had like Bosk or Dangar with them or something,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. But to me, if I'm Boba Fett and I'm sending these two piggies over here and Chrysanthemum over here, and you're sending a Wookiee into the Transition District,
Yeah.
aren't you just kind of writing these people's obituaries? What are two
Basically.
Gamorreans going to do against all these pikes?
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that just, it didn't make sense. Like, completely.
It's almost like Boba Fett was ribbing Chrysanthemum. Oh, hey, you go over here where these guys are.
Remember
these
when
people hate you.
Yeah, remember when you pulled me out of that Bacta tank?
Yeah. You remember when he pulled that one's arm off and the rest of his family is kind of mad at you? Here, you go over here and defend that by yourself.
Oh, yeah. Good luck. See ya.
I did like that when he pulled
that
dude's arm off.
That was cool.
And seeing Max Rebo and the little astromech droid as the drummer was cool.
That was really cool.
Now,
I like that droid.
The Bith, I don't know, is that supposed to have been the Bith from the Max Rebo band that they added to in the special edition of Return of the Jedi? Was that supposed to be one of the modal nodes from Mos Eisley? I thought it made more sense maybe Max Rebo and then that Bith survived, and so they were hanging out. I can't remember that one's name that they added in the special edition to Jabba's band there. But
yeah, I forgot that they did that.
That makes way more sense. It was kind of neat seeing them.
Yeah, we need more.
And I liked Garza Flip too. I was kind of disappointed they killed her off.
Yeah,
I thought she was.
Yeah, they did. They had good elements, but overall, it just. I feel like it just needed to take a different way.
It just didn't. Same way I felt about Kenobi. There's some stuff I like a lot about it, and then there's just felt like they just didn't get quite there enough with it. So
yeah.
And I honestly even kind of felt the same way about the third season of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I like about it, but it just kind of.
I feel like they played it really safe in the third season of Mandalorian. They didn't want to take any risks.
I still think they had to rewrite it all because they forced them to add Grogu back into it so fast.
Yeah.
I think that story was supposed to go a whole different direction and they're like, nope, you got to bring back the little green cash cow back again. You can't have him be gone for a whole season. Having him gone for a whole season would have made everything so much more meaningful instead
absolutely.
of being, you got to squeeze him in here. It just, yeah.
And including that, is that why they had to have those couple episodes of the Book of Boba Fett just about the Mandalorian?
That's
they
why
had to shoehorn that.
Yeah, I
in,
think think they probably, some of the stuff they wanted to do with Boba Fett, they probably had to. They're like, you're gonna have to find a way to get him back in there.
Yeah.
And so they're like, all right, we got to do this here. So
yeah, which that's unfortunate because it makes you wonder what if. And I completely agree with you because that it just adds so much more to that scene where Grogu goes off with Luke. If he wasn't back for a long time.
Yeah, to me, you just ruined that whole. Yeah. How can I miss you if you don't go away?
Exactly.
So if they would have had him gone and then brought him back, you could have had a little more. Showed him with a little more time with Luke and stuff, and it just all to me. It just watching it is like this seems rushed. This isn't how it was supposed to be. This is something they threw together at the last minute,
100%
to figure out something. So speaking of Grogu, I've seen in the new movie he's supposed to be a little bit older. So I wonder if there's what kind of time jump we're looking at from the end of season 3 to when this movie takes place. So
it'd be interesting to see that.
I'm hoping we get some kind of teaser trailer that we're okay with seeing at Celebration. Surely, because it's my understanding they're all done filming it, right?
From what I understand,
so surely they give us a little bit of a teaser trailer for it.
I would think you'd about have to, and
to start building the hype. So
even if they didn't want to show too much, you could show us what we didn't see, and just add a couple more clips to it and stuff
yeah.
like that. So that'd play out pretty well, I would think.
You know, if Embo's in it, give us just a little brief glance of him, if it's just enough to go, wow, cool, you know. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm excited for it. I'm curious to see what the story is, where it goes, how it ties in with everything. Because you know, the same time period, you got Thrawn coming back and all that stuff. So yeah, it'll be
an interesting time for sure. See what direction they go with it.
I wonder if they'll give us any, because they don't start filming Ahsoka 2 until the summer, I think. So maybe they'll give us like a little hint to what might be coming with. I mean, there's certain things we know that got to be tied up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be curious.
For sure. Yeah, and let's see. All the upcoming Star Wars projects that we know so far, to reiterate, we have Andor Season 2 coming
End of April.
So that'll be coming up soon. That'll be a fun watch and talk about for sure. We got the Mandalorian Grogu movie, that's not slated until
2026 in May. So,
yes. And then we got Ahsoka Season 2 to look forward to when they get that going.
You know, and going back to Celebration, are they going to announce anything else? Because other than, you know, we got Andor Season 2 coming out, then you know they're going to be doing Ahsoka Season 2. What else is there?
Didn't we hear rumors of another animation thing that they were thinking?
Yeah, there'll probably be some kind of Tales of thing, I would think. But they need another animated series, which we've heard rumors of another clone-related one. It's like, I don't know. I'm ready for a different time period or a different subject or whatever. Love the Clone Wars. Liked Bad Batch. I need something else now. It's like, I love pizza, but having pizza every day, I have to get where I want something.
No, I
something
agree.
else.
I agree. I will take a Delta Squad series though. I will take that. If you dish me that pizza, I will devour that wholeheartedly. But I agree with you. Other than that,
I still think with even live action and do something similar to the Tales of cartoons you're doing. Have a live action Tales of the Bounty Hunter. Episode 1 focuses on Embo. Episode 2 is Cad Bane. They don't even have to. They can be just standalone stories that take place at a certain time. They don't have to tie into any other stories or anything like that. Just give us little one-off, little short. They had those books, the Tales of the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
Tales of something. Do a Tales of the Sith one. Have 8 episodes. Have three story arcs. One you can tie up the Stranger's story, then go back in time to show something from the Old Republic, and go way far in the future, and have something there
cool.
too.
Yeah,
and just explore some stuff.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, here there's like there's going to be a little bit of focus on the Acolyte at Celebration, maybe, which kind of for me is okay because I liked it. There's parts of it I didn't like, but I love some of the characters in it, so I'm cool with that. But how divisive it seems is I'm kind of curious what.
Yeah.
I almost kind of thought they would have just kind of ignored it at Celebration a little bit, but I'm glad they're not, especially for the actors. Some of them did a really good job. I kind of hate people putting that much effort in, even if it's, same thing with Hayden Christensen and the prequels and stuff like that. They did what they were told to do, and that's just I hate seeing people get like blacklisted or whatever.
Yeah, it's in a lot of cases it's not the actors or actresses' fault. It's strictly the writing.
Yeah, and a lot of them love the franchise and stuff, and to see them feel like they're not welcome at things and stuff like that, I hate it for those people.
I do too. I mean, like, even though we have our gripes against like the sequel trilogy and stuff like that, I did not like seeing all the hate that like John Boyega got.
Their characters to me, given what they've given, I thought they did a good job. I liked the characters. I didn't like the story that they put them in was garbage to me. But I didn't nothing personal against any of them. If they do something after the sequel trilogy, I hope they get some really good movies to be in where people will change their tune on some of them. And I feel like they deserve that. Same thing with how Hayden came back and was in the stuff he's been doing now.
Yeah.
I'm glad for that, and I'm my best with the getting to be that Jedi stuff. I still would like to see a Jar Jar cameo.
I really would too.
I think enough times passed, the nostalgia. I think people would really enjoy that if you do it.
He'd get a pop. Right. He'd get a wrestling pop. I think.
I think it'd be neat that when they further Grogu's story, he took the Jedi character he plays took Grogu in that Naboo ship.
Yeah.
That if he'd go to Naboo and have him interact with Jar Jar and maybe a couple other characters, and hey, we got to hide, we got to do something. I
wonder, because he's, as far as we know, his Jedi character is still alive. Mm-hmm. So that would be
so really cool. That'd be neat seeing his two characters meet each other, and it doesn't have to be a big long thing; it just be real brief, showing them landing on Naboo, and Jar Jar's got ties to everything that's going on and all that. Show him meeting Jar Jar and maybe a couple other characters we're familiar with or something, from Naboo, or you could even it'd be kind of. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Revenge of the Sith. Bail Organa says, "We've reached out but have heard from no one." So it'd be kind of forced fit to have him be there too. But just showing him, handing him off to Jar Jar, the current queen, or something, and going, and just that little brief interaction would be really cool. Kind of cool. So
that'd be interesting if you had, because now I'm spinning here. So somehow Grogu ended up at the spot he was when we found him in Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. How'd he get there? Okay, so let's say, was it? Is it Master Beck? Is that his? Is that on? Let's say he.
Kelleron? Is it Kelleron Beck? I think
something like that. Similar. I'll have his name down here below. But let's say he got him to the Naboo starfighter. They take Grogu to Naboo to hide him. In the original Battlefront 2 game, remember that one mission where you go as stormtroopers to Naboo?
Oh, that's
and
right.
You put down those Jedi there?
Yeah,
so the queen, the current queen there, harbors Grogu there along with some other Jedi. Then you have something where a bunch of stormtroopers come in to infiltrate to take out those Jedi that hide out of them. Grogu then gets launched out of there, and then we kind of follow where he bounces and eventually gets to where he's at in Mandalorian. That'd be a good little, just like a little episode. Be like, this happened, here he goes again.
Yeah. I know in those Aftermath novels, there's like a little epilogue thing, and it references Jar Jar being like a street performer on Naboo now, that, he's sunk into depression. Since they don't always follow the books anyway, you want to make Jar Jar really popular. Have him be a martyr that sacrifices himself to help Grogu escape from the clones or whoever that's after him. Yeah. And have him die protecting him so he can get away.
Yeah, people would absolutely rally for that. That'd be cool. They could make that really strong too, really powerful too. Yeah. So that'd be cool. Yeah.
Then they can show him laying there, and he can be like this, and then they can have somebody kneeling over and talk to him, and he can go, "Misa free now."
And it just disappears like, whoa. What's the noise that he makes when? His tongue.
Misa free now.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. So just a sprinkling of ideas. So, Disney, if you want to take any of these, we love to see things made for the sake of things made, but also, we'd only ask for 10% commission on things that come in, but whatever.
I'd be happy with a cameo role.
Put us in it.
I'll be in the background.
Yeah, I'll be a stormtrooper that ggets shot. I don't care. So
I'll be a background gun.
I'll do it. Yeah, we'll be the street performers.
Right, we'll be.
That'd be good.
Hopefully, a lot of exciting news on the horizon with Celebration getting closer and closer, and I'm curious because there's things we mentioned that we know are coming. There's not a whole lot really compared to the last few years of stuff to look forward to.
I wonder if they have something at the hip ready to throw out there and just be like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'd be cool with that if they had something like maybe that was even an animated thing that was pretty much done or whatever, and they're like, hey, here's this coming. And
yeah, that'd be cool to see. That'd be cool to see. Is this the first time they've done celebrations in Japan?
Was it the first time in Japan? I know it's been over. Let's see, it's been in England, and then it's been in Europe. Why do I feel like it's been in Japan before?
I can't remember.
I honestly don't remember.
I'll have to look up. If it is, I'll slap a little graphic here or there. But because I can't remember from what I know that they've ever been in Japan before.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because going from Andor all the way, pretty much a year to the Mandalorian Grogu movie, assuming it still comes out in May 2026, like they say it's supposed to. It's funny because we used to have to go 3 years between movies, and now we're spoiled. It seems like going the full year with nothing in between.
Yeah, it's like, where's our...
Yeah, I need my fix. Yeah.
But I'm okay if they are able to put in the time to make a really good product.
As long as it's, I'd rather have...
As long as it's good.
Yeah,
I'd rather...
quality over quantity. Yeah,
I'd rather take longer and then have something great instead of it be rushed and be like, well, we had this, and this planned for it, but we needed to hit that release date.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. They hit release dates like stormtroopers hit their targets.
It feels like it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, like we always say, we'll believe it when we're sitting there and watching it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, even after seeing the Mandalorian Grogu trailer, it's gonna. I'm to the point now. I'm gonna have to be sitting in the theater with my drinking popcorn, watching. Now, here's an interesting thing to think about too. How's that movie going to start off?
Ooh, good point.
Are they going to use the, Solo and Rogue One did something different? Are they going to still do something different with it, or are they going to go back to using the traditional Star? Is it going to have the Mandalorian theme as the beginning of it?
Yeah.
So that's interesting how they'll go with that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how they go about that. I'd say they'd have to definitely do something different, but I don't know if they'd use. Well, since it's called The Mandalorian and Grogu, which again, I think they could have done a better job with the movie title.
Yeah, I don't like that title at all.
But I'd say they'd probably end up using some music that we've already heard in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, maybe tweak the Mandalorian theme a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. It'd be cool if they could somehow have it mix in with like the theme that they use for like the Jedi, which I'm trying to think of what exactly soundtrack that was. That kind of like reference that. It's probably, I'll have to think on that one. I'll play 5 seconds of it right now because it's not copyrighted, and then that's it if I find something.
I'm picturing when they was deciding on the name for the movie, and they needed, they want to make sure it is successful and stuff. I'm picturing Mr. Krabs sitting there at the meeting table, and they're like, "What will we name it?" And he's like, "The Mandalorian and money." Grogu's makes the money. Yes, it's Grogu.
Yeah, the money.
Yeah, money.
He's green.
He's green. Money. Yeah.
I could see that.
That's what we need is a Star Wars alien that resembles Mr. Krabs.
I'd love that'd be funny. Have him
and he can run a cantina someplace.
Yeah,
it's
costing me money.
That'd be a funny little.
These shootouts are costing me money. They're killing me customers. Where's me millionth credit?
And then how they do like little hidden things in the background. On the back wall, you could have a SpongeBob and Carbonite hanging on the wall.
That'd be funny. Where's that crossover? Oh, that'd be good. Well, that's going to wrap things up for today's episode. If you liked it, be sure to show us by liking down below. And if you want to follow along and keep up to date with us, please consider subscribing and following us on our Instagram page. And until next time, may the Force be with you.